Hi, this is Jimmy Dillon, and I'm continuing in our acoustic blues mode here. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of acoustic blues, as I mentioned in some of my lessons, and I'm finding out that people, especially after doing some little videos on the internet and on YouTube, there's a great love for acoustic music out there, and you probably know this already, of course, if you're a guitarist. But I've noticed too, like I was watching the Grammys the other night, and there was a lot of acoustic music on there. There was Mumford & Son, the Lumineers. Oh geez, a couple of good singer-songwriters. Jack White did kind of a rootsy thing. His was more electric, but it really is, for me, it's kind of encouraging to see a lot of younger players and songwriters and singers and artists in general kind of embracing what came before and giving it a new slant. It's kind of a neo-roots style, if you will, maybe like the Avett Brothers, and there's a lot of good bands out there. I saw a band called The Wandering with Luther Dickerson. It was really great and hardly strictly bluegrass. But today I wanted to show you a little bit of a different slant on the acoustic blues. This is I'm going to show you just play some passages for you in the style of Mississippi John Hurt, which if you're an acoustic picker, you know him, and if you're not, he's someone to discover for you. Great player, great songwriter back in the day, and one of the early pioneers. But he did a song called Creole Belle. He wrote a song, and I've heard many different people do it. I've heard a few people on the internet do it. I think Taj Mahal did a version at one time. I do it capoed up to the 2nd fret because it works for my voice. My Creole Belle, I love her well, my darling baby, my Creole Belle. When stars are shining, I'll make her mine, my darling baby, my Creole Belle. Now that's obviously, if you're just beginning acoustic guitar, it's a fairly ambitious project, but it's something worth doing. I'm not going to take the whole thing apart here, although I do later in my lessons series that I do. You can go to jimmydillon.com and check out all my various lessons and downloads, and you can get the ins and outs of how this is done. But just to give you sort of an idea, I've got a thumb bouncing back and forth, so that's kind of the groove. Now, what's difficult about this is you have some melodic stuff going up on top, and you get the bass in the bottom. What's nice is the vocal follows the guitar melody, and that's something I like to do, whether it's in this style, in a country blues style, or I like to do it any kind of style, really. There's a lot of different players, a lot of great players that have incorporated, various different melodic techniques where they sing along with it, and they can do stuff like it. Lots of ways to do it, but it's a powerful thing because you got your guitar playing a nice melody, and if you add your vocal in either a straight melody or even a harmony to it, it works. I've heard guys do things where they do of course, remember George Benson used to do that in the jazz days, in this jazz style. So I just want to throw that out at you because we do get into a lot of like shuffles and that kind of blues, which I also love to death. get into, you know, bottleneck guitar, slide guitar, you know, that whole thing. But I like to sort of mix it all up, and I especially enjoy when there's some fingerstyle and some melodic kind of stuff. I think for a lot of this generation coming up, and for, you know, people my age as well, watching Clapton Unplugged was kind of an eye-opener. You know, we all knew Clapton was a great, you know, guitarist, a great electric guitarist from Cream and Blind Faith and Derek and Dominoes, and of course his solo work. But when he came out with that Clapton Unplugged thing, you know, he had all this great deep knowledge of the blues. And a good friend of mine, Chuck Lavelle, was on that. He plays keyboards in a band I'm in called the Werewolves. We've done a lot of work together. And he was on that Clapton Unplugged TV special. Told me some great stories about how it came to be, and you know what happened during the filming of it, and you know some of the spontaneous stuff that happened, which is really great when that happens. But back to the Mississippi John Hurt style. If you can study his work, it's out there, it's available. But if you want to see the way I do it, more of how I do it, and I can sort of take it apart slowly and kind of give you the little bounce to it, the kind of counter melody thing, you gotta really stay with it, because it's worth it though. Because it has some nice, just a great sort of way to accompany yourself on acoustic guitar. And it sounds, when you finally get it down, it sounds very easy and effortless. He doesn't, you know, learn some great little passages, little things that go in between, ways to end it, turnarounds. You know, we know about blues turnarounds, like, but in the blues country, so that's one of the ways they can do it. It's very much like incorporating almost a little Scott Joplin, almost like sounds a little bit like a piano rag, you know, Scott Joplin kind of stuff, St. Louis stuff. And you know, it's just fun to delve into all the, it's really endless, and that's the fascination with the guitar, especially acoustic guitar that I have. There's so many cool things and little ways to learn new stuff. I like to learn something new every day, and often learning for me is just sitting, playing. You can't see him right now, but my cat Max is over there. He's my audience when I do these little tapes. So anyway, stick around. I'll send you a bunch of more stuff. I just wanted to give you something a little bit out of the main wheelhouse we've been doing, which is more of the. We'll do a lot more of that Delta style as well. I'll show you some open tuning, and then we'll get into some basic slide guitar stuff as well. So stick around, and we'll see you soon.